Hey, if you want to expand your world, if you want to grow, if you want to multiply, if you want to expand your borders, never be stingy. In other words, your world shrinks. Your world subtracts when you choose to not be generous. This is Walk and Talk 274, and we're looking at Proverbs chapter 11, verse 24. And it says, never be stingy. And the reason for it is simply poverty. Stingy equals poverty. This is August 28th. We're looking at Proverbs 11:24. And it says that the one who withholds what is justly due results only in poverty. The person who is stingy, cause and effect, when you're stingy, the kickback is poverty. I'm saying the Bible says you're most like God, you're most like Jesus when you're generous. And completely opposite of being like God or being like Jesus. See, the world God created, the world Jesus created. And the world is huge. The universe, the Milky Way, the planets, unbelievably gigantic. Never be stingy, because when you're stingy, your world shrinks. So God creates a world, and it just keeps growing. It just keeps expanding. You're most like Jesus when you are a giver, not a taker. The Bible says it's more blessed to give than to receive. I'm encouraging you in this walk and talk. Proverbs 11:24 says there is a person who gives, who is generous, who scatters his or her resources. And the result of giving, scattering like a farmer, tossing the seed, giving their resources, there's an increase, expansion, multiplication. Proverbs 11:24 says, and there is a person who is stingy. There's an opportunity to be generous. And they're not generous. They don't give. They ignore. And the Bible says in Proverbs 11:24 that the result is poverty. Now think with me. Where do you want to be in 6 months? You want to be poor, or do you want to be better off financially? I'm not going to say rich. But what I'm saying is, do you want to be better than you are today? Do you want to be richer than you are today in 6 months? The Bible is saying you can be frugal. You can be wise with your money. But at the same time, you must be generous. Now, when I say generous, when we're talking about being stingy, not saying don't manage your money, just throw it away, give it away. I'm saying be a smart, generous manager of your resources. You have some money, you have some time, you have some abilities, some resources to help people. The Bible is simply saying that when there's an opportunity to help someone, you need to be wise, you need to be smart, you need to determine how to best help that person, but you need to make sure that you're generous and not a Scrooge. So it's one thing to be frugal, it's another thing to be a Scrooge. There are many, many ways you can be generous. You can be generous with your time and care for someone. You can be generous with your money, and you can share a portion of your money to help someone. You can offer words of encouragement, words of advice. Be generous with encouraging people. You can team up with others and create a safety net and be generous. I'm encouraging you in this walk and talk that you have the opportunity to be helpful, to be generous, to be kind. I'm encouraging you to find ways to help people. Don't be stingy. Be helpful. Let me give you some practical suggestions. Number one, not everybody needs the same kind of help. Generosity doesn't mean that you give everybody $1 or you give everybody $50 and you deplete your checking account. You have no more money left. I'm suggesting to you that the idea of being stingy is I'm not going to help no matter, even if I have the ability to help. I resent you. I'm selfish. I'm narcissistic. And I don't care how bad it is for you. Generosity is being like Jesus. You're helping in a wise way. So the person may not need $100. The person may not need $50. They may think they need $50. They may think they need $100. But what they need is better management of their money. Some people think the problem is less money. I don't have enough money. Well, the problem is probably not about more money. In some cases it is. But in many cases, it's poor management. And as a generous person, you offer to give them wisdom. You offer to sit down with them and guide them. And you're giving your time, you're giving your wisdom. And you may conclude at the end of the time that you understand their finances, you understand their challenge, you understand their heart. You may believe, hey, they need $50, they need $100. What I think the challenge is constantly is being stingy is, I don't care. Being stingy is, I don't want to get involved. Being stingy is, this is sad, you're sad, and I'm not going to get mixed up in it. Make sure that you're constantly evaluating, do I want to be a little bit more like Jesus, like God? And I hope your answer is yes. Being stingy is I'm not going to offer any resources. Not going to give my time, not going to give any words of advice. I'm not going to offer any compassion. I'm not going to offer any money. I'm not going to offer any encouragement because I don't care. Remember, when you're stingy, the Bible is saying your world expands. Practical suggestion. The giving, when you help someone, God blesses your heart. God blesses the action. It's not what the person does with your gift. It's what you did. Your world expands, the Bible says. Proverbs 11:24. When you're generous, not stingy, the Bible says God blesses that. Let me give you another practical observation. When are you most happy? I'm going to suggest that good chance, joy, the feelings of happiness occurs when someone gives you a gift, when you receive something, when something good happens. Make sure you understand that when you're generous, not stingy, there's joy in giving. There's a little phrase in the Bible, for the joy set before Jesus. He, Jesus, endured, put up with the cross. So in the face of crucifixion, Jesus is giving his life. And the Bible says, for the joy set before him. The Bible says for Jesus it was joy to give up his life, knowing his entire life that the day would come he would be crucified. He knew that as God. And the Bible says for the joy set before him. When you are generous, when you're compassionate, when you're kind, there is joy in giving, joy in blessing someone else. I'm encouraging you, expand your world of joy. You can be a lot more happier when you're generous and not stingy. Your world of joy expands. You go from unhappiness to happiness just by giving. You say, Roger, I'm not sure I want to be a giver. Then you will be a taker, and the Bible says there's a subtraction when you are stingy. I'm encouraging you in this walk and talk. Be more like Jesus, more like God. And even though you have to sacrifice, even though you have to suffer, even though it's not what you'd really like to do, evaluate the situation and find a way to offer a helping hand. It could be a word of encouragement. It could be doing something helpful. It could be giving a financial gift. Remember, I'm encouraging you to be wise with your money. Because when you are generous, I didn't say foolish, when you're wise with your money and you're generous, God multiplies. But when you're stingy, like a Scrooge, the Bible says the result is poverty. You're not happy. You're miserable. The Bible says it's better to give than to receive. Practical observation. Ask yourself, am I a generous person? Do you help people regularly? Do you offer a hand of compassion? Do you offer financial help regularly? Take, for example, last week or the last 2 weeks. How many individuals were you generous with? If you can't say a bunch, then there's a good chance you're stingy, that you're locked into your world. You're obsessed. You can't see it. Go back 4 weeks. How many people were you generous with in the last 4 weeks? If you can't come up with a bunch, how many times did you give really generous encouragement? To how many people? Stingy shrinks your world. Generous expands, multiplies. You don't want to keep subtracting. Remember, God keeps score. You don't do generosity to impress people. You don't do generous to impress God, because God knows your motives. He knows your heart. But how many individuals did you say, hey, can I pray for you? Can I help you? Can I encourage? How can I help? How can I pray? How many individuals did you take money out of your pocket and evaluate? Is this a great way to help this person, or do you need to sit down and help them with money management, assuming they're willing? This is Walk and Talk 274. It's August 28th. The Bible is saying the person who's generous, their world increases, multiplies. The person who is stingy, the Bible says, Proverbs 11:24, their world shrinks, subtracts. You don't want to be stingy. You want to be constantly being generous with optimism, generous with encouragement. Tell everybody you love them. That's generous. Tell everybody you're proud of them. You say, Roger, well, they're not perfect people. Well, who is? Doesn't mean that you can't correct, you can't speak the truth in love, but give a word of hope to everybody. If you know 10 people that are hurting financially, take some time and evaluate how these 10 individuals, you might help them. Be generous. Didn't say you have to give money. You can give time, you can give help, assistance, you can give a word of hope. This is Walk and Talk 274. It's a great day. Even though it's some 80 degrees, it's going to warm up today, and we might even get some rain. It's a great day. You want to be labeled by God as a generous person, because that's Jesus. That's God. You want to be labeled generous, not stingy, because stingy leads to poverty. Poverty could include disappointment, unhappiness, misery, not just financial ruin. The Bible is a book designed by God to help you be your best. And I hope these ideas, this one proverb, Proverbs 11:24, you don't want your world to shrink. You want your world to expand. It shrinks by being a stingy person, a selfish person, a narcissistic person. But when you stay and become a generous person, the Bible says God blesses again and again and again. We invite you to worship with us this coming Sunday at 9:30 and 11. First Baptist Church, Tempe, Arizona, 4525 South McClintock. Show up a little bit early and be generous and greet people. If you make it to church, I hope you will, come up and say a high five to me. I'll see you at 9:30 or 11, usually in the lobby. I love to encourage you. Find people that you can be generous. You need to be wise, remember. Just because somebody has a financial need doesn't mean that you take all your money, all your resources, all your time, and you just dump it on them. Good chance you need to teach them how to fish. Always remember, it's better to teach a person how to fish than to give them a fish. You can check out our church on the website, fbc-tempe.org. You can call the church at 480-839-0926. Our church is located at the corner of McClintock and US 60 on the southeast corner. Look forward to seeing you this coming Sunday, 9:30 or 11 in the worship center, and probably catch me in the lobby. Blessings on you. I hope you are or will become a very generous person like Jesus. Blessings.